football fan. Are you going to need to go through a few ups and downs again this season with Michael Carrick in charge? Are you happy with that?
I'm happy, yeah. I mean, obviously there weren't, like I think Robbo made the point earlier, you see Real Madrid getting Mourinho in and there isn't a depth of managerial talent out there, it feels, at the moment. And I think Michael Carrick's brought a little bit of calm and measuredness to the Manchester United thing. We're going into a summer without the hysteria that we usually have when we get a new manager and we're thinking, oh, what players is he going to bring in and how are we going to play? And the idea of all these new managers seems to be better than it is when they actually get to working on the football pitch. And I'm really excited to see what he can do. I'm looking forward to this summer. But he just all feels very calm, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done at United. He's calmed things down. He's got results on the football pitch. The crowd's bouncing again. It feels great to be back in the Stretford End and at Old Trafford, and you could feel it under Amorim. It just kind of got a little bit... Just couldn't be asked, really. Like, you just turn up and you'd be like, we're going to see some boring football again, and the manager's going to gaslight us after, and it's just going to feel crap. And I think Carrick has made it feel a little bit calmer, and just... I'm looking forward to this season. Obviously, it's... The Premier League next season, I think, is a little bit open. I think Arsenal are obviously the overwhelming favourites going into the campaign. But you look at all the other clubs, we don't know what Liverpool are going to be like. We don't know what Chelsea are going to be like. We don't know what City are going to be like. And there's a big opportunity there to maybe challenge. I think the goal has to be to get into the top four. That has to be the goal for the season. But if you can get yourself into December and you're not too far away, there's no reason why we can't. But we have to have a big summer. Because
you finished third this season, I had this little debate with Gary at the end of the season after the United-Liverpool game about, I'm almost saying, don't get kidded by United this season, because I think it's a little bit of I think I used the word false economy in terms of no European football, didn't even get to a quarter-final of it. I think you went out in the first round of both cup competitions, I think. So what I'm saying is that's not normal. That's not going to happen next season. So it's going to be different. But on the back of finishing third, and you're saying a little bit of a situation with other clubs, are you expecting a title challenge, or would you...
I wouldn't start off the season saying...
If someone offered you Champions League football now, would you take that for next
season?
Oh,
yeah, but at the same time, I think if you look at where... Let's say we compare this season to what could potentially happen next season, I think a lot of the points that we dropped were at home. I think you think the Everton, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, etc. is at home. So it's not like we have to get better against playing against Man City and Arsenal and all these teams. We have to get better playing against those teams at home. Now, obviously, pressures change once you are a little bit closer to the top two teams or the top one team. And if you are in a title race, you start to see players acting differently. That wouldn't be the goal for me at the start of the season. It's consolidate, get top three again and see where we can go. But there might be an opportunity open up. And I think if we can invest wisely in the summer...
Who? What areas?
I think that midfield has to get... we have to go big in midfield. In a similar way to last summer, we kind of went, let's address this front three, and we brought in 3 quality players. I think we have to do the same with the midfield. I'd be looking at 3 players in the midfield as well.
Any names?
We're being linked to Ederson at the moment. I'm a little bit torn on that one. I don't know too much about him, granted, but from what I have seen, I don't feel like he would be a first choice for us. But if he comes in as like the third option, I don't mind that. I like Mateus Fernandes at West Ham. There may be an opportunity there. I still like Carlos Baleba, despite him having a little bit of a flatter season this season. Tchouaméni could become available if things change at Real Madrid. I don't think we'll get Elliot Anderson. Bernardo Silva's best days are behind him, and I don't think he'd ever come to Manchester United anyway.
Strange. But Fernandes been relegated 2 seasons in a row, by the way, so watch out.
Fernandes?
Yeah, watch out.
I mean, Ruben Amorim hated him, which tells me he's probably a good player, to be honest. But I think if you look at the Tchouaménis, Adam Wharton, I think we need one of those kind of top players and then 2 players that can rotate and come in.
You just mentioned because of the upheaval in other clubs, there might be something where you maybe challenge for the title share. Who do you think would finish higher next season? Manchester United or Man City?
Oh no. What a bad question.
Mate, we're as close to you as you were to Arsenal, by the way.
It's been 13 seasons in a row we've finished above United. So that's like asking... I don't know, Birmingham City.
I think you're in for a massive shock now.
They're not finishing above us.
I don't think it'll be that big a shock. I think Man City will definitely finish above Man United. And why I say that is because you've already
them up in semi.
They're going to be Champions League. Man United's going to be Champions League next season, and as you mentioned, the other cup competition as well. I think that'll be a huge sort of pull in their squad unless they go and get 6, 7 players.
That has to be the aim, I think. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because at the minute they're wafer thin, and it's been okay Saturday to Saturday. and that's probably worked in Carrick's favour as well. He's got the job because, I mean, Bruno's got player of the season and he's got all these assists. But if he's going to Real Madrid on a Wednesday and coming back, you know, playing Bournemouth away on the Saturday, 12:30, like there's so much extra strain on that squad. So I definitely think City will finish above them, because I do believe City will go again this summer as well and strengthen where the new manager wants to strengthen as well. And these players are hardened up to Wednesday, Saturday, whereas the United players aren't.
I tell you what, you said it was a bad question. Should we have a vote?
Well, you've got to bear in mind there's going to be a 55-point deduction.
Exactly.
Well, if that comes in, then it's different, innit? You know what I mean?
That'll be close then.
Yeah, I'd be tight, yeah. Not like you, Jimmy, that.
No. I think Pep Guardiola is the best manager we've had in the Premier League, but obviously the debate is it Pep Guardiola? Is it Sir Alex Ferguson? Now, before you get into it, I'm going to make the case for my defence of why I went for him. I mean, the trophies speak for themselves, obviously. I think the football and the influence he's had on the game, and almost everybody's trying to, it feels like copy Pep. And it's not just playing good football, it's like, even Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp had a spell where they put Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield from full-back. That was Pep who was doing that at Bayern Munich, you know, things like that. When he first came to English football, I think he had a midfield where he had sort of De Bruyne and Silva as almost number 10s and one centre midfielder. And I remember Gary on Monday Night Football, a guy who's won 7 or 8 Premier League titles, saying, you can't win the Premier League playing like that. And, I mean, he was proven wrong, but I could understand what he was saying. You're thinking you need power, you need that strength in the Premier League. He won it like that. He's changed the team that much that you don't even remember them missing anybody. So Kompany left, who we'd say one of the best centre-backs. David Silva, arguably City's, or certainly probably in the top 3 or 4 players ever. Sergio Aguero, one of the greatest strikers. You don't remember them missing them. I think he won a league with no centre-forward one season.
Yeah, 20.
So the point, and when I'm comparing it to sort of Sir Alex Ferguson as well, who, as Adam knows, I've got unbelievable respect and admiration for, even being a Liverpool man. They did the treble that United did. They won the league 4 times that United didn't do in a row. They won a domestic treble. It's like, I was making all these arguments when I was making, and I'll go to you, Adam, because obviously you're Fergie's man, I get that. Is there an argument, where I'm making these 4 or 5 arguments, why I would sort of put Pep just slightly above Sir Alex in the Premier League? What would be the argument against what I've just said?
I think when you look at the club that Sir Alex Ferguson took over, Pep Guardiola took over a side that had already won the league.
Yeah.
United were a long, long way away from that. He had to change the culture of the club. He had to change the academy and how that was working. He had to do everything. He had to put the roots in to be able to grow something from there. I think you look at the period as well between 1990 to 2001. Fergie won 20 trophies in that time as well. He won the treble, large nucleus of academy players. In his period at Manchester United,
what was that, 1992?
2001, he won 20 trophies, and then obviously between 2001 and 2013, he won a lot more as well. I think you look at the players that he did it with, the academy and all those kind of things that came through. I think in Fergie's time at United, he was only the top spender 3 times. It's kind of like this myth that Fergie outspent everyone, and you know he was always spending money. And I just think when you look at the amount of times he revolutionised the team as well, kept changing 3 or 4 different squads, built those. The managers he came up against as well. I don't think he'd be allowing Arne Slot or Arteta to take his title. He was coming up against Wenger, the greatest Arsenal manager ever, Mourinho.
I think Jurgen Klopp gave him a bit of a run for his money, didn't he?
Jurgen Klopp was unbelievable, obviously. I wouldn't say Liverpool's team was the best Premier League team they've had in that time, but the Chelsea, Arsenal teams were.
99 points. 99 and 97 points, Liverpool.
Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool team was the best Premier League team.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. I said the Chelsea team was the greatest team he came up against. The Arsenal team was the greatest team he came up against. The Liverpool team, obviously, was the one that Pep went up against. But I think when you look at the way he did it as well, and for me, it's 115 big reasons why we've got to look at that.
Adam, listen,
you have to look at that.
No, if that comes out and City are guilty, I wouldn't look at that and go, that means Pep's not a good manager. I'd look at the hierarchy, and a lot of that goes before Pep. I'm not trying to defend City here, but in that time, Man United spent more money than Man City in that time we're talking about, didn't they?
Yeah, we've been horrendous since Fergie left, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's not
about
like
he spent more than anybody else.
Pep Guardiola is obviously a great coach. I'm not arguing against that, but you have to look at the the clubs that they both came into, and Fergie
You know
built a
that point
monster.
there, that's interesting you say that, Adam, and I agree. Man City, I think, had won the league a couple of times with different managers. They were obviously always going to be top 3 or 4.
We scraped.
But when
Champions League
Ferguson
that year.
came in and people say how bad the club was, you know Man United better than me. I'm only saying this from afar. I remember sort of the early 80s, Ron Atkinson. Man United were always there or
They're a
thereabouts.
cup team, though.
I know, yeah, but I mean, if you don't win the league, you're out of cup team, obviously. So what I'm saying is, but you're always chasing Liverpool. You're always in the top 3 or 4. When he took over, and I'm not trying to knock Ferguson, I'm just saying this thing that he come in with Man United were terrible. Man United in 85, 86 should have won the league the season before Ferguson comes in. The season, his first full season, Man United finished second in 87, 88, his first full season. Man United then had a few poor seasons because of poor buys. In about like 88, 89, you were 12th or 13th. That was on the back of buying Neil Webb or Paul Ince or Danny Wallace. Players he bought in, Jim Leighton in goal. It didn't. That's why a little bit, and I'm not Ferguson, I've absolutely adore him. But what I'm saying is it took him a bit of time to get going. It wasn't just the club, they made a lot of buys that didn't work.
But he was also investing a lot of time into the academy, changing those things. And I think that's massively important. And for a club like United, it's super important when you look at the academy record that we've got. So I think the stature of the clubs at the time, whilst Manchester United were one of the biggest clubs in the country, it was still a lot different. And then people always throw the Champions League thing back at him as well. Like, early stages, you know, we could only play 3 foreigners in the team in the early days. And then obviously we had a few slip-ups, but so did Pep. Lost against Monaco. I think we lost against Monaco as well in 97, I think it was the Dortmund game when we lost against them. By a Leverkusen, that was a bad one. But eventually he got there and he won 2 of them. So.
But if we were talking all around, say like the whole careers, would you still put, who would you put on top? Ferguson?
What Fergie did at Aberdeen was unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Last one to beat Real Madrid in the European final.
Into your...
If you look at the team we had in 2011, we shouldn't have even been in that final. I think we had Valencia, Rafael, Fabio, Darren Gibson scored in a Champions League semi-final. Like, Fergie was working his magic at that point. And he had to compete with... You say we spent a lot of money in the Pep Guardiola era, which is true. From 2005 onward, Fergie had to deal with... We sold Cristiano Ronaldo for a world record fee. We brought in Gabriel Obertan, Valencia and Michael Owen. Like, he was dealing with the Glazers, and look, he covered up for him a little bit at times as well, which United fans didn't like. But he was dealing with the Glazer ownership that weren't really investing in the team in that period of time. It changed from 2013 onwards. So I think you have to credit Fergie massively. And for me,
should we
will always be
vote?
great. I couldn't care less what anyone thinks.
I'd be the same.
I go back quite far, obviously being an older fan, and I remember the first season United won it under... We went toe-to-toe with you that season, and we dropped off at the end. But I agree with Adam. I'd put Fergie above Pep. It's simply because of all the reasons. I was just thinking when you was talking, all the reasons Adam said, he's totally right. United weren't nowhere near where City were when Pep came in. And with all due respect to Pep, he's a brilliant coach and he has revolutionised football. But the 3 clubs he's managed, he's had so much wealth.
You don't put Lewis Hamilton in the worst car, though. Why would Pep
Yeah,
ever
but he's
test
had
that?
everything he could have possibly need, whereas Fergie built an empire. And yeah, you can say he did that when he first came in, got that runners-up spot, then it dropped off. So, but to come back from that whilst building that academy...
My only thing was it took 7 years to win the league. I just think if you wouldn't get... Listen, it was a different time.
But the multiple evolutions that he had at the time...
They're different kind of managers as well, because obviously talk about Pep, like, revolutionising the game, inverted fullbacks in the midfield, false nines and all that, because Fergie was more an old-school manager, wasn't he?
Yeah,
It was like...
The best of
but
that,
the way he ran the club... You mentioned the academy from top to bottom and had to rebuild that whole club. I
think Alex Ferguson is the biggest figure, character. When you think of the Premier League, you think of Alex Ferguson, don't you? You don't think of Pep in terms of like his press conference or mind games or maybe bust-ups with his own players. He was a huge...
What I was trying to get at was Fergie he always brought a good number 2 in, didn't he? And like assistant to do like the tactical shape. He was kind of more of a... I've got an old school manager, like, but
he just evolutionised every few years. Like I say, the system
rebuilt it, and rebuilt the team.
New ideas. He was willing to take all them on board.
The vote's coming out.
The vote's coming out, but I just think the Champions League finals just for me. So they weren't just wins. They were.
You also lost Champions League final against a poor Chelsea team because it decided.
No, but I'm talking about when they come up. They come up against 2 great teams. Messi and Ronaldo were in both teams. It was Ferguson, Pep Guardiola. I know you're saying one of them...
2011, we didn't have Ronaldo.
OK, but the other game was still a bit of a... And by the way, they had some injuries that game. I think Yaya Toure played centre-back.
Good player.
Let's put it to the vote. Who's going Pep Guardiola? Sir Alex Ferguson wins.
One thing on Fergie, though. I remember Fergie's last game at Manchester United, and my dad turning to me and saying, and this is what you're about to go through, he went, you're going to learn what it's like to be a real football fan now, son. Yeah. And that's how I feel for you, because your head's a bit in the sand, and it's going to get real quick.
Right, this is against Manchester United at Highbury. Arsenal 3, Manchester United 2. What do you remember from this day, Patrick?
That was one of my favourite games, I would say, in the Premier League, because it's against United at Highbury. We managed to win the game. And that is a rivalry between the two managers, between Roy Keane and myself, between the two football clubs. You had everything in that game. Tension, good goals. Nicolas Anelka at the time, I believe, was one of the best number 9 in the Premier League. Quick feet, was a really good finish. And of course, the second goal that I scored here was an unbelievable goal. And leading 2-0 against United, and not an easy games, because that generation of United had quality and fighting spirit as well. With Sheringham, they managed to get back into the game, and he scored the second goal here with a really good finish, one-touch finish outside of the box. And you can feel the tension, the stress. And of course, we managed to win the game at the end with a really good header from David Platt, and winning the games like that, it's unbelievable. And the scenario of that game really show the tension between the two clubs.
And we call it a 6-pointer here, don't we, in England? Even though this was in November, it was so important in a season where you won the title. Look at that, 19th November 97.
We wanted to get closer to them, and we couldn't allow out losing points. And the 3 points and the win was important, because that allowed us to be a little bit closer to United.
Right, let's go on to and this one is winning the title at Old Trafford. Does it get better than that, Patrick Vieira? And bearing in mind these, as you've just touched on there, these were your bitter rivals at this
Yes, bitter rival. And, you know, when you start the season, you just want to win the title. And then, of course, with the calendar, we realized that, you know, winning it at Old Trafford can make it even sweeter for us. And then we had this opportunity with Will Tort scoring the goals. And that is one of the best moments. Celebrate at Old Trafford in front of our fans. There is not a better moment to win the title.
We can look at the table here as well, because the Arsenal fans will remember it. Look at that, Patrick, down the barrel of the camera. But look, that's with the season wrapped up after 38 games and 7 points clear of Liverpool, who finished second, 10 ahead of Manchester United. Let's get stuck into this rivalry. Do you send Christmas cards to Roy Keane now? Are you best of friends?
But, you know...
There's no answer there.
No, there was a huge respect on the field. There was competitiveness, there was some hard challenges, but it was all about competition and desire to win. I think we were quite similar on the competitiveness side. We wanted to win, and we wanted to stay up for our teams, you know. We saw each other a couple of times, and we had some really good memories talking about the tunnel incident. I think here he completely lost it. I think we've seen somebody who didn't control himself, and you're seeing me here quite calm and composed. But this rivalry was something that I loved, and I miss, to be honest with you. It was borderline at time, but it was about competition and desire. And those challenges, I think you can't do it anymore in the Premier League. I think we enter in a new area now, but you miss those competitions.
What?
Yeah, I think in today's game he will get 2 red cards for that one.
Loved it. Look at the smile on your face, Pat. I mean, like you say, do you think you won some of those battles in the tunnel because of how calm you remained? But to be fair, even when you were throwing a few things back, you still looked calm.
We were similar. We were similar. I was calm but determined and not afraid to go into challenges. And I was ready to stand up for myself, and I was ready to stand up for Arsenal Football Club and for the team. And he was quite similar, and that's why I think at times he was quite borderline. But I loved and I enjoyed every single games that we played against United or I played against Roy Keane. I needed to be ready every time we play against them because I knew how tough and difficult those games was going to be. And I think fans and people loved those games.
They love that era, absolutely. Yeah. And look, you could be in the same room now as pundits. We've moved in a good direction.
That is why it's all about respect and enjoying it, watching those moments.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay, but first to England, and with 9 days to go until the World Cup gets underway, Kobbie Mainoo has told us everyone in the squad is 100% certain they can end 60 years of hurt and win the tournament. The squad trained in Miami for the first time today with temperatures reaching 30 degrees. Thomas Tuchel's side have 2 pre-tournament warm-up matches against New Zealand and Costa Rica in Miami ahead of their first group game, and that's against Croatia on June the 17th.
Can England win this? Do you believe they will?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, I feel like everyone in the squad, the staff, everyone believes we can win it, but that doesn't come easy, and it's going to come first game, second game. We have to build and build and build, and I think that's what we have to focus on.
How do you think you've developed as a player and as a person since the Euros, Kobbie?
It's a tough question. I feel like I've matured with ups and downs, and as a player, I feel like I've grown. I think become more confident and more ambitious, and just want to carry that through and show that on the pitch.
What about the weather? I mean, we can see you sweating now, and that was supposed to be a light session. Is it difficult?
It's different. It's different. But you know, they've set up this great facility for us, and all the staff and everyone's working really hard to get us acclimatised as quick as we can. So hopefully by the first